And action.
Hello and welcome. Christian Moreno here with a very special original content for Combate Americas. This is the backstory behind the fighters. What you want to know is here. This is the special series, Vida Combate, in which you will get to know as much as you want from these fighters and who they are. My first guest is none other than Fresno's own James Porter, and we are at the Bullard High School. Please welcome James.
How's it going? I'm James Porter. We're here at Bullard High School. This is where I played football growing up. Starting freshman year, this is kind of where it all started in terms of me getting tough and putting on strength. Football was really important to me growing up, in terms of forming me to be the man I am today. So just in terms of the hard work we put in, we were here at 6:50 in the morning. We had 0 in first period weightlifting, and we would do strength and conditioning here. And yeah, this is this important part in me developing as a man. So that's why we're here.
So, yeah, all that is great, but on Friday, December the 7th, you have quite a challenge. You are going to be in none other than the great situation of making your Combate Americas debut. That sounds very beautiful, and it is. And as you said, football was where you got tough. But this is the other thing. I saw a picture of you in which you stand at 6'1", or so, right? You were at 250 pounds. You were not this light as you are now. Tell us about that journey. I mean, that's quite a difference.
Well, yeah, when I was playing football, I kind of ate whatever I wanted. Obviously, didn't really watch. I was a lineman. I played line. So after that, after high school, I started training in MMA, and I didn't want to be fighting big guys. So I started cutting weight, started eating a lot healthier, eating a lot better, and got down. My fight's at 185 now, so I went from 250 to 185 pounds. So that was an awesome journey, and that comes from the MMA training, and it's just different. You have to watch your weight a lot more. You don't want to be fighting those heavyweights. If I wouldn't be fighting a heavyweight if I was still 250 pounds, and no one wants to fight those big guys.
Well, it's a long way. I mean, we're talking about 250 pounds going all the way down. But you also mentioned something when we were actually on the way here, that you played basketball too.
Yes.
So I guess basketball happens sometime after football. And what was your weight back then? I mean, how did you start doing this cut down to get around this weight?
Well, when I played basketball, I would lose some weight when I played basketball, because all the running that's involved in basketball, naturally I would probably get down to like 230, 225. I only played till my sophomore year too. I only played basketball my sophomore year after I got kicked off the team because I had horrible grades. And then after that, I started wrestling. And wrestling also helped a lot with my toughness, because just the grind and in there. And you're in there grinding in a hot room, just freshman, sophomore year I played basketball. Junior, senior year I started wrestling. And that's also what led. And I was a heavyweight at wrestling, and that's when I realized I didn't want to be going against those big guys. So, just started eating a lot better, training a lot harder, it was mostly after school, after high school. Towards the end of my senior year is when I started training. After wrestling season, I started training in MMA.
Right.
So probably like last 2 months of high school, that's when I started training MMA, and the weight just fell off.
So we go into wrestling. Is wrestling the one that actually paves the way for you to actually become enamored with MMA? I mean, you mentioned Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
Where does this come from? I mean, is it wrestling? Is it Anderson Silva? What actually grabs you into MMA?
Well, I became a fan of MMA probably in about 8th grade. I was a big UFC fan. I loved Rampage Jackson, Anderson Silva. And then I knew I wanted to fight at a young age, but I was kind of afraid of what people might think at the beginning. You know, my brother. What also helped is my brother already fought before me. So after seeing my brother fight, it was like, dang, I want to get in there. You know, and then my junior year, I knew I wanted to fight. That's when I started gravitating more towards wrestling. And wrestling, I'm so glad I started wrestling because it just helps with your mindset, being able to grind, you know, being in there. Just it's a tough situation. Being in like I said, being in that room, grinding with all those with everyone, just, you know. Basically just help get me to be tough. Sorry, I'm like losing it a little bit.
What are some of the things that happened in this place where we're at right now? I mean, tell me some experiences that you actually lived out that shaped you.
Man, I think it's just the work ethic part of it. Getting up early in the morning, you know, when I didn't want to get up, like we were forced to be here, and that helped us. That helped. I'm sure everyone I played with can attest to the same thing. It was rough, you know, being in here, getting yelled at by the coaches, you know, being pushed during our workouts. Multiple different workouts. We would do squats, heavy squats. We'd do hang cleans, all that. Bench press, you know, that's nothing I really ever did before high school, before football. I didn't lift a single weight before I started playing here, and so that was just a great experience for me in shaping the man I am today. I feel like.
There is another one that's actually going to be fighting also that went to this high school as well. You guys have an age difference. Paul Asando.
Yeah.
So he's going to be fighting too. How does it feel to have a high school buddy actually going at it also? That's
awesome. I'm sure. I know I think he wrestled here, and the funny part about that is my junior year, the first year I ever wrestled, he was in and out of the room. I remember him. He was actually at my first wrestling match. I remember seeing him at my first wrestling match, and you know, I did horrible. I got pinned. You know, it was the first time I was 17 years old. It's the first time I'd ever tried it. But it's awesome, you know, seeing him here and seeing that we're going to be on the same card. It's like small world, you know, kind of type thing.
Combate Combate. So it's your Combate Americas debut. You're going to be doing it under a card that actually features a very strong tournament. They're fighting at 145, but Combate Americas only continues to grow further much. When James Porter actually sees this, do you see yourself eventually, when this tournament actually expands, maybe in your weight class, you eventually getting into it too?
Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind. If they bring that to my weight class, I will win that. I'm confident. I'm very, very grateful to be making my pro debut with such a great organization in Combate. It's so far the biggest moment of my life. So I'm ready to go. I've been trying to go pro for about a year now, and things haven't gone my way. Fights have fallen through. So I'm just ready to go. I'm super excited for this opportunity. I'm super grateful for Combate Americas, and ready to go.
So how is life in school? I mean, your origins are biracial, right?
Yes.
So that is white mother, black father?
Correct.
Tell me about school. How was it? I mean, it's quite a combination, and you know, kids cannot always be. They can be quite mean.
Yeah.
How was it for you?
For me, it wasn't too bad. You know, I think the fact I was never like a small kid, and at school I had no problem making friends. You know, I was in sports a lot growing up, so never really had any issues there. I think everyone was accepting of me being biracial. I didn't really deal with all that. I mean, yeah, there are some people, you know, who have their issues, but nothing that ever really affected me. So I never got bullied. I can't really say that that was ever an issue, you know. And I was a bigger kid. I don't think anybody wanted to pick on me really. So yeah, it was okay with me. Just no issues. I was a horrible student when it came to actual schoolwork. I was lazy. I didn't like school, but I liked the social aspect of school, if that makes sense.
How so?
Like, I love to socialize, you know, I love talking to girls at school, all that.
Not a bad thing.
No. You know, I loved hanging out with my friends. I think that was the cool part of school for me, is I like to see my friends and hang out with them. And, you know, maybe a little too much because obviously I barely graduated high school. I think when I graduated, I had under a 2.0. So I was at the bottom of the class, but I realized at a young age school wasn't for me. And I'm more happy doing something physical.
Combate Americas pretty much fits in what you were saying about acceptance. They have a strong target as far as promoting diversity. So how does it feel to actually be a part of something that unifies us in times that, you know, sadly, we don't necessarily have as much as that going on?
And awesome, man. I'm just glad because it's a mostly Hispanic organization, correct? And, you know, I'm just glad that they're giving me this opportunity. It obviously shows that they're diverse, you know, giving a biracial black and white guy a chance to fight on their card, you know. It's perfect for me, you know. Like, I think they're doing a great thing here. They're bringing in a lot. There's going to be a lot of people there, and we know the Hispanic people love fights. They love to watch fights, and you know, I'm excited to give them something exciting to see.
In which exercise did you suck? I mean, there must have been some that you actually didn't do that good.
No, man. When I started lifting, I couldn't lift. I was very bench press low. I have long arms, so I feel like it's a lot of distance. Squats, horrible. I was better at cleans, hang cleans, but when I started here, I was probably the weakest one in the room in terms of lifting weights. I was definitely one of the weakest guys in the room. But you know, over time I put on strength, and that's why I'm so grateful for this place, because it helped me get stronger and stronger and stronger. But yeah, I would say I suck the most at bench press and squats, the two most common lifts.
You know, it takes an honest man, and it takes a very visioned one to actually admit the ones that you're not good at.
Right.
And that's precisely where you own your craft as much. Tell me about your fighting style.
Man, my fighting style, I'll say honestly, I am good everywhere. Standing up, I'm good. On the ground, I'm good. I believe I don't have any weaknesses, and I believe everyone's gonna see that Friday night, and I'm gonna excite everyone. I'm gonna put on a show for everybody. I believe I'll finish it in the first round.
You mentioned the fact that you were a tall kid, and that helped not to be picked at. But your opponent, he's taller than you.
Yeah.
And he has quite a past himself.
Mm-hmm.
Seems quite determined. How's that bode for you?
It doesn't mean much to me. He's taller, but I believe I don't know what his reach is, but mine might still be longer than his. I have a 79-inch reach. I have a 6'7" wingspan. So I don't think he's about 6'4", right?
More so.
They say typically your wingspan is the same as your height, but I'm about 6'1" and I have a 6'7" wingspan. So I believe his height is going, in this fight, for me, is going to work to my advantage. I don't believe it's going to be a disadvantage for me at all. So yeah, I'm just grateful for the opportunity. I think it's a good matchup for me. You know, it's kind of funny because I'm fighting someone I like. I prefer to fight people I dislike, but this guy, you know, I kind of know him a little bit like before, and there's no animosity at all. Just The only thing really is I believe I'm better than him everywhere, on the feet, on the ground. I believe I'm going to come into this fight and I'm going to dominate from start to finish.
You know, you're talking a very strong game. Now, this card, as we said, that's pretty much the biggest card that Combate has to offer in the year, the Copa Combate.
Yeah.
You find yourself right now under the tournament, but you seem like a guy that definitely wants to strike even bigger in that same regard. Do you see yourself pretty much fighting at that same weight? Like, what do you target in?
I'm trying to become a champion. I want to be the best, one of the best ever. I want to be considered one of the best fighters ever to fight. So I work hard, you know. That my goals are high in this. I'm not here to have fun. I'm here to have fun, obviously, in terms of I think fighting is fun, but it's not just that. I want to be the best.
Being the best is big aspirations, is one that definitely must happen in everyone's life. Now, another thing you did, you already have been a coach, and we saw some of the kids that you've coached already have gotten bigger. Tell me about that time coaching. I mean, you're 24 and you've already been a coach?
Yeah, I right after high school, I coached football. And that was for 3 years, I think I coached football. And that was just a great experience. I coached at Tenaya Middle School, which is like a half a mile away. It's a feeder school to Bullard. And but the problem with that is the reason I stopped. It was taking away from my training. And I knew my dreams were to be a fighter. So I had to stop coaching. I miss it. Don't get me wrong, I miss it from time to time. But, you know, I had to make that sacrifice and I needed to focus. Yeah, right. I had to focus more on training because I was only training once a day. I remember I lost my second amateur fight, and that drove me nuts. After I lost that fight, I was like, all right, I have to make a change. And I stopped coaching football, started training twice a day. And I believe I've not even anywhere near the same fighter I was back then. I'm miles ahead than I was.
We saw the kids pretty much had a bond with you, definitely. Yeah. You're very personable. Where did you get that from? I mean, was that some of what you got in Bullard, or where did he get
definitely.
that?
It's just what I experienced with my coaches, you know. My coaches here, we built bonds. You know, like, I understand when my coach is yelling at me, he wants me to do better. So I kind of, those kids, like you said, you were mean to me. But I was mean to them, but I told them why. And I was also, you know, I helped them out. And I think that's what really, I really just got that from what I experienced from my coaches.
Screw it. Let's verify if you're talking the truth in its entirety. Let's actually